Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's how I try to start, you know. Zahra,
Yes.
we have known each other for a long time.
A very, very long time.
I almost don't remember how long. That's how far back.
I think we were like late teenagers, right? Like
I think
18
so.
or something like that.
Because I still remember it had something to do with university,
Yeah.
early university, that kind of thing.
It was that awkward stage in our lives.
It was
turning into an adult.
I just remember you were friends with a bunch of friends that I knew, but I think we knew each other from MSN.
Oh my God.
Was that a thing? I think so.
I think so too. We were very advanced.
This is a pre-Facebook friendship. I mean, this is
old school.
This dates back to pre-2007. Yeah.
Yeah, MSN. Was it ICQ? No, that was way.
No, that was before.
I'm showing my age.
No, that's that was way before that. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm so glad to finally have you. I thought we've spoken about this quite a few times over the past couple of months. Mm-hmm. So I'm really happy that you are here finally.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me. I know it was tough to get a hold of.
It was, You're not very responsive on WhatsApp.
I'm the worst.
Or Twitter.
Or anything.
Or Facebook Messenger.
I don't know how I function in life, but yeah. But I'm here now.
Well, you're here now. That's good. That's really good. So I just want to introduce you to the world. Mm. And by the world, whoever's watching or listening. I mean, I don't know how many people that is. But yeah, so you are a fashion blogger / Instagrammer / I'm going to call you content creator.
Yes, I prefer that.
I feel that's a good term to use.
Yeah.
Fashion content creator. How long have you been doing this? Because I remember we've had a conversation around 2012, I believe, where you were in London and I was approaching you because I was thinking of starting a website that sold like fashion items or whatever. And I remember that you were doing something with fashion and whatever. Yeah. And then you sort of I remember that's when you started dabbling with this thing. So tell me your story and how you started there.
Yeah, it was way before then. Actually, in January, it'll be 9 years that I've been doing this. Which can't believe it's that long. But yeah.
Perseverance.
Yeah, I don't know how I stuck to it. I never stick to anything. I get bored really easily, but I kind of stuck to this and I love it. It's changed a lot throughout the years because, technology and stuff. Uh-huh. But it was really strange. I mean, I began out of just out of nothing because my background has nothing to do with fashion. I studied computer science and graphic design at university. So it was just like a whole other world for me. So back in 2009, I decided, it's time for me to say what I want to say. Uh-huh. So I started the blog.
Which is just Leyla?
Well, it used to be called... Well, I did my research before, and that's why I came up with that name. It used to be called Leyla Loves Fashion. And because, again, as a computer science geek, I knew that for search engines, you have to have the word fashion in to really get your name out there for SEO and stuff. Okay. But I hated the name. Okay. That's why it's now changed to just Leyla. Yeah. So anyway, so I started that. I was working in an art gallery called Tashkil. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Yes.
Yeah, so I used to be their in-house graphic designer. And, / everything else. So I started it then in 2009. And then in 2011, I moved to London for my MA. Okay. And that was when it kind of started picking up. It was still a hobby. It was never anything about making money or making it into a business or anything like that. And then in London, everyone loves everything about Dubai, and Dubai loves everything about London. So it kind of worked out, and it just started to pick up a little bit. And then once I was done, I moved back to Dubai in 2014, and then it just exploded.
But you hadn't been on Instagram when did you get on that?
No, Instagram, I was quite late on it. I don't even remember when I joined Instagram, but I never really took it that seriously because I was focusing on the website, and that on its own was taking up so much time. So and back then Instagram wasn't that big thing that everyone was talking about. Social media wasn't a thing. Right. So I wasn't really. It was like Facebook, a little bit of Twitter, but no Instagram. Right. So I got into that late. So that's why it's kind of slow.
So do you do this full time?
At one point I did, but I'm a graphic designer, so I still freelance as a graphic designer. So yeah, I guess you could say I balance the two.
Right.
I also do content creation for brands
okay.
as well. So what I do for myself, I do for brands for their local accounts here.
Okay.
So I do stuff
cool. So you gave me a lot here to work with.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's like break it down.
Yeah.
So I remember I was telling you earlier that my wife was telling me, she's like, how many followers does she have and everything, and I was like, 17,000, and then she's like, no, she's actually near 100,000, which I thought was crazy though. No, but I mean, you're being humble.
Yeah.
You're just being humble right now. But how did you jump from, it's kind of a short period of time if you're saying you got into Instagram a little bit late, and then you jumped from like, let's say 0 to nearly 100K in what seems to be like a couple of years.
No, way more. I think it would be probably 4 years.
4 years, okay.
4 years?
Well, I've been on Instagram for like this long, and I just hit the 1,000. So
because I remember taking it seriously, which is good. There's like a whole thing you have to do to really get into Instagram, and it's tough. It's not just about posting a picture and then you're done.
Right.
But yeah, I'm actually one of the slow ones. Like, I'm going to be honest. There are people with like millions, and I'm like, how did that happen? But what was your question again? Sorry.
No, like how, like, do you feel like you, like the process of like investing in Instagram and putting this much effort into it? Do you have like, that's what I want to know. So, not just fashion bloggers, but everyone. And also, like, honestly, like, full disclosure, my wife is also like, she's building her personality on Instagram and everything, So this is not just for fashion bloggers, but just in general.
Yeah.
How much of your day and your time it goes into planning that Instagram post, and like, what goes through your mind when you like put it out there, and as a person that has near like 100K, like, how do you feel like, okay, I'm gonna put out there a post, and like, do you plan your post ahead of time, and like the hashtags and all that kind of stuff? So how do you like go about doing these things? And it doesn't tire you out, because you freak out, right? Like when you put a post out there,
do you
you're
not
like,
see the dark circles under my eye? No, social media has become a pain because it's like a whole other thing to deal with. It's become like a monster. I'm being completely like transparent and honest with you.
Yeah.
Initially it was really fun, but it's not instant anymore. It's people really pre-plan everything, and I think it's taken away from the fun of Instagram. But as with any business, you kind of have to hustle with it. And it takes like what I do is I try to pre-plan as much as I can with what I will be posting. I have certain hours that I post that gets a better like engagement, depending on when people are on.
Right.
But all of this, again, I've worked so hard to kind of get this schedule down for myself, but then now with the new algorithm that's come out, that's completely messed up everything. So again, I'm trying to figure it out and see excuse me, how I can take that schedule and revamp it to work with the new algorithm.
Right.
So so I pre-plan my images.
Do you feel like, so what kind of audience do you feel that responds to you the most? Or is there like some kind of like other bloggers where you're like, okay, I want to be like that person? Or is that something that you...
It's different. I think everyone's different. The ones that do really well are the ones that really bring out their personalities, and everyone's different. And I think that's what makes them successful. If you're going to just copy someone else's, and it's so saturated, especially with fashion, that you really need to have like a niche or something about you that stands out.
Right.
And I honestly think, you don't have to sit down and think, oh, what's so different? It's just be yourself, and that's different on its own. Like, you can really go far with that. Consistency is definitely key. Like, you have to be consistent with your posting, so people know that if someone's following you, they know that, you will be posting today, and they will look forward to it. So if you're really like, one day you post, 2 days you don't, and stuff, people kind of forget about you. Especially now with the algorithm, you need to keep posting to be relevant.
Okay.
What else can I say?
I post like once a month.
Yeah.
Maybe that explains why I haven't.
And it's all like math and stuff, So like, if you don't post too much, then people don't like it as much, and then when people don't like it, they won't show up on their news feed, and then you get lost in all the noise. So you really have to keep pushing yourself out there. It's
just crazy to me that it's become a business.
Yeah, I get brands asking me to post more on my Instagram than the blog.
Right.
They're like, no, we don't want the blog. We just want on Instagram. And I'm like, with Instagram it's just one image, but with a blog you can say so much more. There's so much more to write, that you can use so many more pictures, and it will always be online. It's searchable. You go on Google, you can search and it comes up. But with Instagram, once you post another picture after that, that's it. That's old news. No one wants to talk about it. No one wants to see it.
Right.
You can't go and search for it. You have to literally flick through millions of pictures to find it. So
I mean, I just think it's crazy, like since the inception of Instagram, that a new industry was born.
Oh my God!
And the industry of content creators and influencers was born. And
I hate that word.
Honestly, I was talking to my wife about it yesterday, and I was thinking that honestly, it works. You know what I mean? It does work. I mean, it depends how the brand uses. The influencer.
Approach, yeah.
I agree with you. I don't like the word influencers. Maybe.
I think if someone says, okay, you're an influencer. Okay, I'll take it. Thanks. That's really great. I influence. But if you are like, dude, I'm an influencer. No.
Hello.
You kind of who are you influencing?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, my little cousin influences me in certain things that make her an influencer. I don't know.
I guess we're all really, influencers in some way.
Yeah, in some way. But I think it's about being humble about it.
Yeah. But it's crazy though. I mean, like you think about it. There's so many people who have like, they don't work anymore and they just do Instagram, and honestly good for them. Like it's amazing because they're getting to do something that they love, and at the same time they're selling that content to brands and so on, and it has become an industry, which is crazy. And I see people like yourself. I mean, I don't know how do you balance out the business aspect of your Instagram, because obviously you have that approach, right? You want to do something that you love, but at the same time, you want to sustain it.
Yes.
And you want to make a living out of it.
Yeah.
So what's the right balance, though, between branded content and just generic, like, stuff that you love to put out there? Because I'm seeing a lot of influencers or content creators who just, like, it's become, like, out of 10 posts... 8 of them are ads, which is like, come on, like it prompts me to unfollow you. You know what I mean?
So the whole point of being an influencer, air quotes,
right,
is that what you say, people, understand it and want to do the same thing you're doing, buy the same things that you're buying. That's how you're influencing people, right? And I think it all started off with bloggers, where people started going to them, then going to magazines, because they were like, these are more like, they're real girls or guys, they're people that are just like me, and they're not being paid, they're not, advertisers are paying them to talk about these things, so it's genuine. In magazines you have to include your advertisers in your pages, other than the advertising pages itself. Within the text and stuff, you have to mention them, so it's a bit more real to follow bloggers. So then that kind of moved on to becoming influencers, and I think people are not as dumb anymore as they used to be. They're like, no, we can tell that this is something that you've been paid to talk about. And I think that's where it gets kind of like, there's like this blurry line about what's real and what's not. And I think if you're someone that really wants to stay genuine, this is the time to do it. And like, for example, when I post, I make sure that not every single post is a sponsored post, because then it just looks like I'm just doing it for the money, and that's not the case.
Right.
And I'm not saying you shouldn't be charging brands. No, at the end of the day, it's a business. At the end of the day, you're making money, and if you're someone that's genuine, it will show through your work, whether you're getting paid or not. So like for me, I wouldn't agree to something if I genuinely wouldn't be using it or wearing it, because then why would I be doing it?
Right.
And as tough as it is sometimes turning down projects that pay really well, because I still have to pay my bills, you don't want to lose your integrity with your followers. And I think that's what's kind of like making this kind of chaos within the social media realm, is that people are just saying yes because of the money and losing their integrity, and brands are going with those people, and people are like, no, we're not dumb anymore. We know what's happening. We don't listen to these people. Like, why are you working with them? So it's a bit, it's a bit crazy, but
it's because I was talking to a friend of mine a couple of days ago, and she was telling me that some of the content creators or influencers, they sort of like want to cash out because they know that they have, like, for example, 2 to 3 years of like fame. So they want to cash out on that fame right now, get all the money that they can get, and sort of like retire kind of thing. But you look at it in the US, for example, or Canada, or like European countries where they have proper industries of content creators who are now millionaires. And like, what was his name? Jake Paul?
Oh yeah, the kid that came.
Yeah.
Jake.
Is that his name?
Jake Paul, yeah, and he has a brother.
The blonde guy.
He's like a comedian. He makes like videos.
Yeah,
he started off with Vine, I think.
Yeah, exactly, that guy. So he was in Dubai Mall, but there was like a huge line outside, people like going crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Look what's going on here. It's like that guy from YouTube is here.
Yeah.
And honestly, a part of it is like, it makes me happy because it shows this new media age that's like breeding these new sort of like content creators, celebrities, businesses. It happened because of the inception of the internet.
Yeah.
And it's no longer part of, you have to be part of a machine like, a TV industry or Hollywood or whatever for you to become famous and make money.
You just literally need a laptop.
Just need a laptop and a good personality. And that's and an idea, right? Yeah. So that's pretty much it.
Some people don't even have an idea. They just film whatever they want, and then eventually. But then you also have to look at their audience.
Yeah.
For you, especially with YouTubers, most of their audience are younger kids that are the ones that become like super fans, and they buy all the merchandise and everything. So I think, again, if you're a brand that's approaching a influencer or whatever, you have to see their audience and if these are the people that you want to target or not.
Right.
So, for example, with that Jake Paul, Logan something.
Yeah. Logan Paul.
I think
Jake Logan.
Brother?
Jake Paul. Logan Jake? Oh, I don't know. Logan. Let's just call him Logan. The blonde guy who does these dabbing videos.
Yeah.
that's the guy. Yeah.
So, his audience are really young.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think you kind of it's like a whole thing, and like you said, it's become this entity. So like I know, like advertising agencies are like setting up social media departments now. Like there's a department for it. So it's clearly something is happening.
Right. Of course. I mean, it's a lot of companies that have digital arms and social media arms, which is fantastic. I mean, again, it's creating jobs.
Yeah.
It's getting more people into the workforce. It's changing the way we work. Even marketing. Like if you look at marketing 10 years ago when we first started working.
Yeah.
I first started working. I don't know about you, but I don't want to say anything about your age.
I'm 21.
Never a day older than that. But yeah, like back then there was no digital, so to speak. Or there was obviously internet and stuff, but I remember having a conversation with one of my clients like back in 2007. I was like, we should probably focus on a website. And then he was like, website? What are you, a moron? Like, website? Who uses that website? Well, who's laughing now?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. So anyway, but I think that's very interesting how that entire this entire ecosystem just was born from that. But even like with YouTube, like they become millionaires and they become like huge and so on. I remember I tried dabbling with YouTube, but I just couldn't find my voice. Okay. So I tried to do some like vlogging videos. Yeah. And it was fun.
That's your voice. I mean, vlogging, that's the thing. Vlogging
it's you,
You don't have to be putting on a show or anything. You just have to be you.
But just it feels like people are always excited on social media, like they're always excited, always showing their oh my god, I'm living an amazing life, and like I was like, dude, like
because it's an escape.
Right.
People watch it as an escape of the reality. Yeah, so you don't want to be watching someone depressing because that just sucks the life out of you. You want to see, you kind of want to aspire to be something, So you come back from your job, which you probably hate, I don't know, and then you're like, you know what, I just want to escape, and you kind of live vicariously through these people.
Yeah.
And I think that's why everyone's like super happy and life is great, but it's not. But like, it's nice to see that.
But that's a unique way of looking at it, because I actually didn't think of it that way. I was thinking, it's funny that every vlogger I look at, well, not every, but I mean, most of them are always like, hey guys, how you doing?
Yeah,
oh my god, I'm so excited to be here. Why are you always excited? You're always excited. But
then they come out with like one video that's like, you guys have something to talk about. Right. They show their real side, and you're like, wow, man, this guy is real.
And then they start crying.
Yeah, and you're like, yes, like this is the life goal.
Subscribe. This guy's so real. Yeah. But I completely agree with you. And I think that's how. I think it's a very interesting thing, because even with with vlogs, even sometimes when you feel it is annoying, you can't help but watch.
Yeah.
Like, I love Casey Neistat. I don't know if you... I love his videos.
I mean, his editing skills are
fantastic.
Yeah.
And maybe because I have a love for New York City itself, so I feel like seeing his like approach and his life.
So,
and his
you're
editing.
Vicariously living through him in New York City. So,
and he's very... I like that he's honest as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that's very important.
Of course.
That having a sense of honesty in your work, I think is very important.
You have to.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, people are not dumb. Like, they can see through you. You know, they can see exactly when you're faking it, when you're being real. So, and people want real.
Really I think honesty is a really good thing, and I think that's why I started to focus on, like, for example, all right, maybe vlogging isn't necessarily, or until I find what I would like to do in a vlogging world, I'm going to put a hold on it.
Which is smart.
Yeah.
Because you should be doing it, you should love what you're doing. Once you stop loving it, it's so obvious in everything you do. So people will kind of get that and be like, okay, no, I don't want to watch this.
To be fair, though, I did enjoy it. So it was really fun because what we used to do is me, my wife, and a couple of friends would go to restaurants and like we'd try it out and like we'd talk about our opinions on the restaurant. I love food. So this was like a really cool thing for me to do.
Yeah.
But it just felt that I just felt like I was a little uneasy with it. So I was like, all right, I'm going to put it on hold and just figure out what I'd like to do. But at the same time, I know that I loved podcasting and I love talking to people and I love having conversations with people. So I thought this would be the optimum way to do it. And I wanted to do it in a way that's honest. Like this, like we don't prepare, we just get in front of a microphone. And I know sometimes it's overwhelming. It's like, okay, shit, there's there are lights there. There's,
No, but I think that's what makes it exciting, is that even when you hear the conversations you have, it's real and you learn so much from it. You know? So, no,
and that's what I'm trying to do. And that's, and that's why I try to get like different people to talk about their interests and so on. So that's, I mean, and I know you started vlogging recently, which honestly, very, very honestly, I really like it. I was going through it. I was like, can this be her first couple of vlogs? Like, those are really good. Like, what do you mean? Like,
it's been. I'll tell you one thing. This Insta stories and Snapchat has really helped. I mean, I've been dabbling into starting a YouTube page for years. Like, I think I started it like probably 3 or 4 years ago. But it was so nerve-wracking because it was a whole other thing, and like, it's your face that's like moving, and you can't really edit too much, you know, without making it look fake. So you had to be real, and it was just really nerve-wracking for me. And even when I started the blog, I never wanted to put myself in front of the camera. I was always behind with everything I did. So even taking that step to put myself in my blog, not the vlog, the blog was like, whoa, this is huge. I don't know if I should be doing it, but that's what people wanted. And at the end of the day, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to build an audience, and you're going to do what the audience want, but still sticking to who you are.
Right.
So it was really tough. But then I was like, you know what, listen, I'm really behind on everything. And now with Snapchat and Insta stories, people want video content. And I was like, why not? I had a lot of my friends are really sweet. They're like, your personality really comes out, because I'm a big joker and I'm very sarcastic. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll try it. But it was, it's been, I don't know how I did it, but it happened.
It's cool though. Like it's really, and I was very, I guess now I understand, now that you say you are a graphic designer, it makes sense why your editing skills are quite good.
It's very different, let me tell you.
I understand. I know that all the graphic designers out there, I understand that what I said is like, it's very ignorant. But what I mean is that, because you have graphics in your video, so like...
like one pop-up thing.
I know,
it's so sweet.
But it's cool. It's cool. It's very cool.
People should watch it. Go watch it.
It's very cool. I honestly, it's entertaining.
Thank you.
And so I think you have a couple of episodes up there.
Yeah, so I'm just keeping it as a travel vlog, but for the vlogging side. I think I'm not ready yet to like show so much of my life, because I do want to do weekly vlogs, because so much happens in the fashion industry in Dubai.
Right.
And everyone's always so curious. There's events, press days, photo shoots, so that's really fun to do. But I think I'm going to start off and see how it is just doing travel vlogs.
So you were in, I think the last one I saw, you were in Italy.
Yeah, I was in Venice.
You were in Venice. Was that fashion related, or is it just
No, it was more with the hotel. So again, traveling. So what I try to kind of... So my main thing is fashion and beauty, but I'm including a lot more of travel, because that's what I do now. And like, I travel a lot with brands to different cities for different occasions, whether it's...
As part of your Instagram persona.
As part of, my vlogging Instagram life. And I'm now trying to do more of travel, but still trying to keep it towards fashion and beauty. So for example, if I'm traveling somewhere, I would probably focus on what I would pack or what I would take for my beauty, because if you're going somewhere cold, you would need different types of products for your face. It's very girly stuff.
Yeah, no, I understand. It's all good. Yeah.
So I still want to keep to my niche, I guess. But travel is what has become a big part of my life, and I thought, why not just start with that? Because again, not everyone can just pick up their suitcase and just travel, and I thought maybe they could see it through my eye. I don't know if you're interested.
So how often do you travel? I mean,
so it's been a bit quiet the past year because I've been going through a lot of different things, personally and stuff. But it would be almost like 2 to 3 times a month. Sometimes once in 1 month I was somewhere different every week.
Wow.
So yeah, and that's so much fun. I love that because you learn about a new country, a brand. You really they take you to the HQ and they tell you everything about the history, and it's so much fun.
And
I love learning.
These are fashion beauty brands, right?
Yeah, fashion and beauty brands. So yeah, I guess I thought, why not blog?
A blogger's life is really cool.
I mean, it's good.
I'd watch that. I mean, I'd really watch that.
Because you get access to places that you wouldn't have been able to go if you weren't like working with the brand. So I think that's exciting to see. I mean, I love seeing that with other bloggers. I still follow YouTubers and bloggers because I love to see what they do. But it is a lot of work, and I don't want to be like, oh, look at us, we're so tired. But it is a lot of work because you have to be creating content. They're not inviting you there because you're pretty. They're inviting you there because they want you to be producing the content. So, you're constantly, I have my cell phone, I have my vlogging camera, I have my big DSLR camera, I have this. So I'm trying to take content for each of these for all the different platforms that I have. So it gets really intense.
Yeah.
And then you have the full day. So you have an itinerary where the full day is taken up doing this, sites and this and that. And then you have to come back and then edit everything because it needs to be up. And then you still have work that's coming in from back home, all the emails and all the other stuff. So it's intense. Like, it's great. It looks amazing. And I'm so happy and so honored to be doing this. Yeah. But it's a lot of work.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, like, when I tried to dabble with vlogs, just editing the vlog took some time, It was fun. Don't get me wrong. It was fun to do, but it just took some time. And I can't imagine
the whole day if you're not so used to the editing.
And if you don't have a machine that's responding or whatever, it's there's a lot of factors in place that I think it takes a lot of determination and it takes a lot of discipline for somebody to actually build themselves on these social platforms, So I mean, like, hats off.
Thank you.
And like, I see my wife, for example, she wakes up every morning at 6 a.m. and does one of her like quirky breakfasts and whatever, and she takes pictures.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
See, but that's why I always say you have to love what you do, because if you didn't love what you're doing, there's no way you'd wake up at 6 o'clock. Yeah. You're like, forget it. Like, I'm just gonna take another nap or whatever. So you have to love what you do because it takes a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of dedication. So
well, that's the thing. A lot of people say like, just do whatever, but I don't. For me, and I agree with you on this, is that I think find what you love. Yeah. And then go after what you love, because then it's not going to feel like work. It's going to feel like you're doing something for fun and you're going to put it out there. Like, so for example, for this podcast and the videos I'm putting up on Facebook, I'm focusing on Facebook as a video platform because, again, YouTube is very difficult to grow. Anybody have tips out there on YouTube? Please let me know.
But you know what it is though? And what I've noticed is that with YouTube, you have to put yourself out there. You have to go on people's accounts and be like, oh my God, great video, watch their stuff. You have to be part of the community. Yeah. A lot of big YouTubers, I'm not going to name names, but a lot of them did that when they first started, and now they're huge.
Really?
They would go and they would support other small YouTubers, and then they would like cross promote each other, or like they would comment on their videos, oh, this is great, come check out mine, and they would come check. So it's all about building that community. And I think it's the same also with Instagram. You kind of have to be there. You have to reply to people asking questions or commenting, just to show your appreciation, and then go and support. This is what's missing, I feel like, here. Okay. That's a whole other thing. We need a whole other podcast about that, because there needs to be that, you need to be part of that community that really supports each other, and I think that's a bit lacking here.
Okay, so in what sense? I'd love to know what you think.
Again, because it's so saturated, there's like...
Do you think it's competitive?
Very competitive. Okay. I think it was a little bit better back in the day when I first started, but now that there's so many people, it's become so competitive.
Really?
So catty and so like high school. Yeah, no, that's like a whole other side. I try not to get involved in any of that stuff. Just do your own thing, concentrate on yourself, and support who you feel like you should support, who are friends, and I think I believe in karma.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
And if you're nice, you know, people will be nice and good things will happen. So
do you feel like it's because the community or the market isn't big, so people are trying to take from each other?
Yeah.
Or
and you also have to keep in mind we're the Middle East. So we have, you know, Kuwait, you know, the GCC, and then we have Lebanon and like North Africa and all that stuff. And all the brands, their main offices are in Dubai.
Right.
So everyone's trying to compete in Dubai. So that's how many countries?
Right. That's
how
right.
many people? So it's really competitive. So people are getting a bit nasty when it comes to finding projects and collaborating with brands, you know, because...
Do you work with, like managers or agents, or for you, like, do you have a representative for yourself to speak on your behalf to brands and whatever?
So I have my best friend. I was looking for like maybe an agent or someone, but I felt like no, I didn't want it to get too corporate. I still wanted it to be me. I didn't want brands to be like, oh god, she has like a manager, and they tend to be a bit like scary.
Right.
So I actually ended up working with my best friend who knows me like the back of her hand, so that made it perfect. So I could just let her do whatever she wants. So she was managing me in terms of like dealing with projects that came in, dealing with contracts, and then the payments. Because the problem with me is that I end up becoming friendly with the brands, and then I'm so shy to like negotiate. I can't. And I think that's a downside. I should be like boss lady.
Right. Yeah.
But then I have her that she does that, and then she just does all the, you know, stuff that I don't.
Does she have an agency, or does?
No, it's just her.
Just her. Oh wow, good for her.
Which is great. But then I think now I'm at a point where I need a little bit more than just that. And she's also like, she started a family. So it's been a bit like busy with her and her kids and stuff. Of course. So I'm actually just about signed with an agency.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so like a talent agency and stuff, just so that they can start taking care of more of the business side, so then I can do all the things that I wanted to do, like launch something, you know, do more than that, because again, the blog was a stepping stone for me to get into this industry, and I want to do more. Like, there's so much more you can do, and I think that's what you kind of have to stay relevant as the year goes. You can't be doing the same thing. Yeah, you ride the wave, that's great, but then what's going to happen? What if Instagram stops? Like Vine is dead now, you know? What happens if that dies? Then you have nothing. So
that's right.
You kind of have to start building things.
It's a very good point, actually. What's your next platform?
What's your next step?
Your tentacles have to be everywhere.
And like, you know, every day there's a new Instagrammer. Every day there's someone new that people want to work with, and people get tired of seeing the same people working with the brands over and over again. So excuse me, you have to stay relevant.
Right.
You kind of have to. It's kind of, I don't want to. I mean, the way I can compare it is like a celebrity, I don't know, an actor. You know, after a while they're A-listers, and then suddenly in a few years you don't hear from them. Then they're Z-listers again. You know, so they're trying to reinvent. You have to try to reinvent yourself. So it's kind of the same. And
I feel this whole thing is so new, though. I mean, new in a sense that it hasn't been around for more than 20 years.
Yeah.
You know, it's all still new, and everybody's still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I think Vine, for example, was a big wake-up call for a lot of people, because there was a lot of Viners. There were a lot of Viners that made it big. Like, they had millions of followers. I think Logan Paul. Logan Paul, that's his name.
Is it Logan Paul?
I don't know.
What's Jack?
Who is Jack?
We'll figure it out. I'll Google it later.
We'll Google it after.
He has a brother. Anyway.
Does he? He has a dad and a mom.
Logan Paul.
I think it is Logan Paul.
Yeah, I think it is Logan Paul.
Yeah. Anyway. So him and a lot of people, I think, were quite big on. He might not even be on Vine. I don't know. I'm talking to.
No, I think he was. I think he started in Vine.
I think he was on Vine. Yeah. But so what I'm saying is that all these people were so big on Vine that when Vine. They thought they had built a career on Vine, and then suddenly Vine or Twitter announced that they're going to kill off Vine, and then you have all these people thinking like, well, you know, I've made my livelihood from Vine, so what's next for me? Now, a lot of people transitioned to Instagram and to YouTube successfully, but I'm sure a lot of people got dropped off and like. Yeah,
but it takes a lot. Like, you built an audience on that platform, then to move it all on the other platform, it's tough. You're going to lose a lot of people. It's not easy. Yeah. That's what I always say. I always say, listen, it's great that you're doing amazing on Instagram, you know, as an influencer. But like, what happens if Instagram decides to go like, you know what, we're closing down, or it's not working, it's not yours. You don't own it, you know? So you don't have that control. They can change something. Like now, they've completely changed the algorithm. People are suffering, losing followers, engagement rates are down. So
I wonder why that is, though. I mean, I wonder why like I work in digital media, so I kind of understand why they have to optimize these algorithms, and they have to like sort of make the experience more wholesome.
It's all about money.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
But how? Oh, is it because of like?
Because now it's all about promoting. And at the end of the day, everything is about making money. It doesn't matter what you're doing.
Right.
It's always about making money. So they need to find ways where they can, because their income, their money comes from advertising, right? So they need to find a way where they can push people to advertise more than just
and
brand.
show up on the main feed.
So for example, if you're a business account, you have to start promoting, otherwise people won't be seeing your. I mean, there's so many times that I remove my account as a business because no one sees it.
Really?
Yeah, I get people like, oh, did you stop? I'm like, no, like I'm here, but because they want you to push to promote your posts. People don't see it, and then once you go back to personal, oh, it's a personal account, it's not a business account. So people were like, oh, hey, you're back. I'm like, no, dude, I've been here. Like,
wow, really?
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
So you have to be. It's all about making money, and it's about whoever. And like, if you have a really big following, then people tend to engage with you a bit more because you have so many more people following you, and then you show up a bit more. It's all very business like.
And how do you find Twitter? I know you're quite active on Twitter as well.
It's so funny. I know everyone says this, but Instagram is like, oh, look at my perfect life, and then Twitter is like, shit, my life sucks.
Yeah. Actually, it makes a lot of sense. You're right.
So I think that's how I also do it as well, where Instagram is great, but then I bitch about my whole life
right.
on Twitter, and it's a bit more real. But I think here it's still a bit, because it's not as visual. It's still a bit slow. Not everyone is on Twitter, which is a shame because that place is fun.
Yeah. Oh, I love Twitter. I mean, for me, it's my favorite social platform.
Is it weird that you get all your news there? Like about the thing happened yesterday at Oxford Street. Yeah. Like I found out about it on Twitter more.
Everything.
Than anything else.
I think the first social platform I check in the morning is Twitter. Like that's not Instagram, not Facebook. Not to say that I love Facebook for its, me as a person who's trying to do this thing.
Yeah.
I love Facebook because the video platform there is great, and I'm putting stuff out there on Facebook, and it's doing quite well.
Yeah,
it's being picked up.
Facebook is much better with video now.
And it's easy to share as well, so people can view something. I had Samer Hamadi, the founder of Stereo Arcade, just before a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
So, and his talk was so interesting. Like he was just talking about, how to start a club in Dubai and the clubbing scene and whatever. Now, I'm not a big clubber.
Yeah.
When I say not a big clubber, I don't club at all. But it was so interesting because like I live in Dubai and I know that there's a healthy scene there, and it's so interesting for him to talk about that stuff. But putting that video on Facebook was really beneficial because first of all, it went to the right audience. A lot of people knew what Stereo Arcade was. A lot of people were interested to know how that thing works and how you do open a business here in terms of the nightlife aspect of it, which not a lot of people talk about. They talk about other entrepreneurial stuff, but not really the nightlife stuff.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting. I think that's where Facebook really helps. Finds the right audience for you. Shareability is quite high, commenting and so that sort of stuff.
But you know what it is as well, is that because you're teaching people something by interviewing people that that are talking about how they got to where they are. So I think that's what also makes people successful online, is that if you're actually teaching and people can take away something
giving
from
some
you,
kind of value.
I think those are the ones that do really well. So that's why I think your podcast as well.
I hope so. I hope it picks up.
No, it's doing well.
It's doing all right. Yeah,
it's having a lot of guests. I mean, you have me now.
Yeah, well, there you go. I made it. I've peaked. That's it. It's just downhill from here. No, but I mean, what I'm saying is that so you got that for Facebook, and Instagram is good too. I mean, my Instagram is just my own personal Instagram, so
it depends on how you want to go about Instagram. If you want to keep it personal, you keep it personal. But if you really do want to turn it into business, you can. You just have to figure out what it is that you want to put out there.
Yeah, because I don't want to change it to Basel Meets. I just want it to be just me. You know what I mean? Like it's just me.
You can always start another account.
I guess. It just seems like a lot of work. Like I have to do it all over again. I'm kind of enjoying this because I'm just talking, and it's like after this, I'll go home, edit and upload. So it's like I enjoyed that, but just starting a whole Instagram. Anyway, but Instagram is good in that sense, right? I think a lot of people succeed so much on Instagram because it's visual, it's a window into somebody else's like passion and interests and so on. So that's good.
But also it's very user friendly.
It's very user-friendly as well. Yeah.
So that's why people love it, because it's just so easy to scroll, to find people, whatever. So I think
absolutely, it's very user-friendly.
Yeah.
I'm not on Snapchat. Well, I was on Snapchat, but then I was like, I'm not so sure about this. I think after Instagram introduced the Instagram stories, they kind of like the novelty of Snapchat for me kind of wore off. And I stopped.
I'm the same. I stopped. And even though I get brands telling me no because Saudi Arabia.
True though, yeah. I mean,
Snapchat.
Yeah, honestly, 100%. Snapchat is still big in Saudi.
But the problem with Snapchat is that it's really, sorry to cut you.
No, please.
It's really tough to measure if you're trying to do it as a business. It's really tough to measure who's following you. You can get a lot of weird people because you don't know who the person is until you actually follow them to see, because it's just a username. So in that sense, it's a bit creepy.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I think I'm going to keep that for the younger generation.
Yeah. Hey, you're 21, so I don't know how much younger.
I forgot about that shit. Yeah, 21.
But so Snapchat for me is that I like the filters, to be honest.
Yeah,
I have fun with those. And then you got Twitter. So for me, Twitter is my favorite because it's just, I learned so much on Twitter.
Yeah.
You know, it's the place I get my news. If something's unraveling or happening around the world, the first thing I do is, as I'm watching TV, I look at Twitter. I see what people are saying, you know. It's that second screen experience that no other social platform has mastered yet. I think Twitter has that quite well. And I've met a lot of people on Twitter. It's just a shit ton of people I met on Twitter, which is really cool, because you meet the coolest people on Twitter. Now, I'm not saying go out there and meet strangers or anything like that. That's not my message.
You see their real side of them, because people are really vocal on Twitter, you know?
Yeah.
Didn't the whole Arab Spring happen on Twitter?
Yeah, like a lot of that stuff happened and unraveled on Twitter and Facebook and whatever. Well, even like my meeting Metallica thing that happened in 2011.
Yeah, I remember that.
That all happened on Twitter, you know. So all these things are like, that's why I love Twitter. There's a little, you know, love relationship between me and Twitter. But I don't know if I love the 280 character thing that they just added.
You know, I'm
not a big fan of that.
I don't like it that much. I don't know why it's getting so much hate.
You know why? In my perspective, it's because I was so used for like the past 10 years.
It's out of comfort zone.
And it's just, I guess so. I think it's the comfort zone. I just scroll and it's just like sound bites. You know what I mean? Like bam, 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 bam. It's just easy to read, easy to scroll through. But now I have to like read through a paragraph, you know, and not through
We're so lazy. We can't even read
It's like,
extra 2 sentences.
You want me to read 2 more sentences? Are you crazy? Yeah, that's a lot of my time.
Yeah.
But I think I see why they did it. So a lot of people, you know, I could tweet something, and it's not really a reflection of who I am, right? It's just, I'm just saying that, you know, something in 140 characters, and I'm just putting it out there. But that's not flushing out my idea or what.
It's just like a little snippet of.
And then people are going to judge me based on that.
Yeah.
But now Twitter has given me the opportunity to maybe flush out the idea a little bit further, you know, which I think is a good thing from that aspect.
I mean, it's good. It is a little bit more reading,
right?
And it looks a little bit different on your screen. But I think it's good. I just wish there was an edit button, because.
Yes, Twitter. We need an edit button. I think they know. I don't know why they're not doing that though. Like I
guess again they want it to be real.
You think even if Kim Kardashian, which I think she has asked for an edit button, get on it, Twitter. You know, I mean,
Kim has asked.
If Kim asked for it, I mean, come on. You know.
I think maybe there's a reason why they don't do it. I'm sure there's something.
there. Must be something.
Yeah, but I love this whole thing that started where there's like a thread. And people just you have to read this thread, and like people tell their stories through a thread.
Right.
That's really
I enjoy those.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. I really enjoy
I want to
those.
make one, but I just can't think of anything exciting.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll come up with something. I'm pretty sure. Please, share that with me. But yeah, so you're saying, okay, so I want to go back to the competitiveness.
Yeah.
You know, you were saying there's a whole lot of podcasts there, but I mean, it's just very interesting that. You're saying about that. So do you find it more in certain fields than others? So for example, for you, fashion and beauty, is that like where it's like You know,
yeah, I mean, I can't.
That's my
really
territory. Don't come.
Yeah, I can't really speak about any other industry because I'm not familiar. Although I did have a glimpse of the wedding industry because I'm getting married soon, and they're so lovely.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. They're so lovely. Like everyone's so supportive and they help each other. And these are like women or like men or just people that work with huge budgets. You know, like I'm talking millions. So for them to be so, you know, happy to share all their ideas and contacts and stuff with each other is amazing, and it's such a shame that I don't see that happening. I mean, from my experience, it was good at first, but it's become very cliquey as well, very mean girls.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, this is so interesting.
Yeah, it's a shame, but I guess with every industry there's always that competitiveness. And
yeah. Do you think there's a lot? I mean, when you look at the fashion industry, are you like? Do you feel like you're involved in the industry, or are you still, as a blogger, on the outskirts? Like,
you know, we used to be back then when people didn't know what bloggers were. Like, oh, who were these people? Especially journalists didn't like them at all. And I still think journalists don't like bloggers.
Okay.
But I think you were in it.
Well, you're a threat to them.
A little bit, yeah, which we shouldn't be because we're giving a different point of view than a journalist is. And remember, a journalist has that education background. It's very different. You know, there are two different ways of saying a story, which is
true.
Normal. Everyone has that, you know.
Right. Well, maybe they view content creators or influencers as advertising tools, whereas they see
but you
journalists...
have to understand that journalists are being paid by the magazines, right?
Oh, to cover the event. Or
in general, as you know, as income.
Right, that's right.
They're employed by a magazine.
That's so true.
And they do their job. The magazine pays them every month, and they're not allowed to talk about certain things.
Right.
Because I joined the Vogue team when they launched in Dubai, so I also have some experience in the journalism side as well.
Right.
And you're supposed to really involve your advertisers within your columns and everything like that. So they get paid as a monthly salary through the magazine, but bloggers don't. You know, we're not hired by. There isn't someone that's paying us a monthly income, so we're making our money in a different way, and I think that's what confused people.
Right.
But a journalist isn't getting paid to talk about this. Like, no, you are getting paid. It's your job, you know, and this is our job, and we're getting paid in a different way. So you just have to. People are not very open about discovering different things. You have to be because. Again, we're all trying to make a living. We're all trying to pay our bills, put food on the tables.
Yeah. So you still feel that you're kind of like at the outskirts. You haven't penetrated that world.
No, I think we are at this point. I think now we are like the press trips that I do. It's me and editors as well. So it's a blog. They like choose, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 bloggers and then 2 or 3 press. So we're kind of all in it together because again, we have a different point of view of everything that we do and a different voice.
Right.
So I think, you know.
And do you feel like the friendliness of, you know, the people around you in the industry, not the bloggers or anything, but is it like, I would feel it's very, how do I say this? It's very intimidating, you know, to be in that world.
In fashion, generally, it's intimidating. The whole industry is...
Everyone looks good.
The whole industry is like... It's a bit fickle, in a sense. So everyone's like this. Sorry, my lip is really dry.
I'm sorry, I want to get you water, but I don't have any water.
It's all right. It's all right. I have to put my lip balm on. Oh, such a blogger thing to say. Sorry.
You guys are saying the first-hand blogger.
So the industry is so fickle itself. So, and that's why it's so competitive, and I think that's the problem. And it's just, I don't want to badmouth it because there's so many lovely people that are there, but again, with every industry, there's always someone that ruins it. Right.
No, I'm sure it's gonna be it's a very intimidating industry. There's so many, you know, there's so much competitiveness between people, and then who gets the first seat, who gets a seat at the table, who gets you know, like that kind of stuff. I'm sure it's like I get anxiety just thinking about it. You know, like it's
I mean, my mom always said, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
All right. Wow. That's so you don't drop the mic right here and I can just be like, yep, that's what's up.
Yeah.
But well, you know, what's the next, what's the next thing for you? Like so now I see you're putting your effort in vlogging as well, and you're putting some efforts still on social media, on Instagram, but like, where do you see this going? I mean, not just for you, but the industry in general in terms of content creators and so on. Well, let's start with you first.
Yeah, that's like a whole thing. Okay, so I started YouTube finally. It's not just going to be vlogging. I'm going to be doing videos, sit down videos and stuff like that. So that's a whole other thing that I'm working on. I'm still going to continue doing the Instagram thing because there's still a little bit of fun in it. I won't lie. And
I'm sure, yeah.
You have to. It's still there, so you just have to keep going.
Also, it's your bread and butter, right?
Yeah, and I still have the blog as well. Again, it'll be in January. It'll be 9 years since I started. So
wow.
I feel like one of the veteran bloggers. So
yeah,
it's good. We're coming back. We're
and do you see like a lot of traffic coming into the blog as well?
Yeah, so that's what we do. So what I do is I use social media to kind of drive traffic to the blog.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the funny thing is, it's the region. They don't want to read websites anymore. They just want to stick to anything that they can do on their phones, and that's mainly apps, social media.
I think it's a global thing, to be honest with you. I think a lot of people just stopped going to websites and just consume what's ever presented to them on social media.
Yeah, but I think still, like in the UK and the US, they still very much read blogs. I mean, from what I've seen and the hits that I get.
Okay.
Also, it's funny because here they don't tend to comment much on what you do unless it's a hate comment. Right, okay. People like to give out their opinions, but then towards the West and stuff, they're still very happy to like support and stuff like that. Right. But anyway, so I'm still going to be doing that. I'm going to be launching something really soon.
Okay.
Which again has been in the works for like years. I think it's just I have anxiety, so I'm a bit of a perfectionist in a way where if something doesn't look right, I just scrap it. I'm like, no, I have to do it properly, and I think I just need to put my foot down and just get it out. Right. So I'll be launching something soon. Again, that's something that will kind of another stepping stone away from this if it ever dies down.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, you will be announcing that. When?
Soon.
Okay.
I'm not going to give a date because I have kept giving dates and it just never came.
yeah,
but
it's okay.
Soon, yeah.
Okay, excellent. So that's where you're headed. That's what's your okay, cool. And in terms of industry, do you think we have a everlasting sort of social media industry that's gonna?
I think it's gonna be here for a while.
I think so too.
Yeah, I mean, everyone goes like, "Oh, it's gonna die down soon," or the influencer thing is gonna, die. And
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think it's still there, especially in the Middle East. We're always a little bit slower than the rest of the world. Right. So I think it's still going to be here for the next few years.
No, I think so. I think it's a whole new media movement.
Yeah.
And now that we have people have the opportunity to express themselves in ways they couldn't like 5 years ago or 10 years ago.
Yeah.
This whole thing is still new, and I think we're all trying to figure it out and see how it's going to move forward. I don't think it's going anywhere. I think this is the new normal. I think people like you who have found their niche, found their passion, and grown that passion, I think that's just what we're going to be seeing more and more. And I think that's what people gravitate towards more. Yeah. Individuals, people. Like I follow not just you, but I follow like your personality, and I follow like what you do and your passion and so on. So I think that's where people are.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. No, I think it's still going to be there again because people are very curious, very nosy. Right. Social media is like you're peeping through a window that's really closer than where we were before. Yeah. So before you were by the road, now you're by the window. So you can see much more, and I think that's what people love. Yeah. That's why also vlogging does well because it's like you're like a fly on the wall, and people just want to. That's why celebrities, everyone wants to know who they're going out with, what they did, what they're wearing, what's happening. So I think that's what social media kind of in a not so creepy way. Right.
Do you have any upcoming trips coming up?
Right now, no, because it's almost the end of the year, Christmas coming up, so it's a bit quiet. Right. I just got back from London. I was in London after Italy, so trying to get back into work. I might be traveling just for wedding stuff. Really boring, you don't want to know, but so far,
your wedding stuff.
Yeah, my wedding stuff.
Are you getting married here or in London?
No, not here. Oh, not in London.
Not in London.
No. Trying to figure it out where.
Oh, you're still trying to figure it out. Okay.
We've been taking our time, but yeah, we're doing. I mean, it's time to start.
Okay. And when are you getting married?
I don't know.
You're really trying to figure it out. Okay.
I mean, we're both very busy, and because it's a destination wedding, it takes a lot of time.
I understand that. Yeah.
This place and stuff. So.
Completely. Yeah. We had a destination wedding, but I mean, it's much easier because it was. I mean, I'm from Jordan, and I just was like, all right, fine, we'll just do it in Jordan, and that was it. I mean, not really a destination wedding, I guess. For a lot of our guests, it was. Yeah, it was a lot of our guests. It was like we were excited to come to Jordan and see the Dead Sea and like all that kind of stuff. So it's really cool. Honestly, it's really cool to have a destination wedding.
I mean, I think it's because I want something small. If I have it here, my family will just make it into some big circus. And
my family did that in Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get your uncle, who you haven't seen in 20 years. You probably met him once.
Yeah.
Not sure if you met him.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're inviting him, and he's gonna come. He's the life of the party.
Yeah.
You're gonna love him. So we ended up having about 300 something.
Oh no, that's like My brother's wedding, there were about 700, and it was just women.
Oh, ours was a opening band basically. Your brother was the headliner.
I'm not doing that. I'm not.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. I think it's a lot. It's expensive, and it's like.
I just want it to be just like close friends, close family, people that actually want to be there, and making it a destination wedding. It will.
Awesome.
The nice people will come.
Any areas you've loved that you feel like?
We're kind of thinking somewhere in between where we're both from, so somewhere between Dubai and somewhere between the UK. So it would be, I was thinking Eastern Europe because it's not somewhere people really go much. So maybe Eastern Montenegro or Georgia or something like that.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, something different.
Yeah, like this Georgia. That's a lot of people are going to Georgia.
Yeah,
so that's
slowly getting there. And
I don't know why I thought you were going to get married in Bali. I don't know why I thought that.
No.
I feel like I saw you tweet that once.
I was at my friend's wedding in Bali in the summer, and it was beautiful. And I was like, I joked, I'm like, can you keep all this stuff for like a couple more months for my wedding? But no, it's too far away.
Bali is, we went for a honeymoon to Bali.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's fantastic. Yeah. It's amazing.
You know, it was the first time I go to the East.
Really?
I'm so ashamed to say that.
Yeah, no, honestly, it was my first time to go to the East when I first went to Bali.
Yeah.
And I felt like I discovered a whole new part of the world that I have not seen before.
Yeah.
So since then, we've been to Thailand, we've been to Hong Kong. I was just in Taipei a few weeks ago. So yeah, it was.
Yeah, I really want to start venturing.
It's interesting. It's a whole other culture.
Yeah.
I think every part of the world has something interesting.
Yeah.
That being obviously the culture and just
the food.
The food.
You know,
not so sure.
Not too bad. In
Hong Kong,
different.
It's Hong Kong is okay actually. Taipei for me was a little bit off the charts.
Yeah, but it's interesting to see how different it is.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
Because you're like, no way, that's not it, and then you go and you're, oh my god, yeah, that's what they eat. So
I struggled a little bit my first couple of days in Taipei. I was struggling to see like well, that's the thing, McDonald's to the rescue. You know, that's what
my dad used to do when he traveled to East. He was like, we ended up being like at TGI Fridays because we couldn't eat anything else.
That's I mean, I tried, but then I didn't know what exactly I was eating, and I didn't know if this place is a place that the people from the country actually trusted or not. And, like, I don't know any of this stuff. I'm trying to go on TripAdvisor and all that stuff.
That's why you should follow travel bloggers.
Yes. Good plug.
Yeah.
Good plug, yeah.
Because they'll tell you where to go and what to do. They've already done all the dirty work.
Right.
They ate all the weird stuff.
I heard there's a new vlog in town called Just Leyla.
Oh, my God.
It's really good.
I've heard she's freaking amazing.
I heard that too.
But you might have to take your time because she just started.
But get on that game quite early.
Yeah.
Because she's responding to comments now. So there you go. Well, on that note, I think we just hit the 1 hour mark.
Perfect.
How'd you feel?
It was amazing. I mean, I'm sure we could have talked a lot. I have so much more to say.
Well, we can go on for another hour.
No, but I think we hit all the targets. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. I know you're busy, and I know you travel all the time, and I know,
You make me sound so much cooler than I am, so thanks.
Well, it's good for the podcast, too, because he's getting a lot of very important people to but yeah, no, thank you so much.
No,
I really enjoyed this, because it was very different from
anytime
my previous
need anything, just holler.
Because next time I'm talking to a metalhead, so
amazing.
It's gonna be very different from this conversation.
It reminds me of my teenage years. So
really? Were you into rock and roll?
Yeah, back in the day.
What?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
We need a whole other podcast.
Metallica.
Yeah, like A Perfect Circle, stuff like that. Yeah.
I think it just became like 10 times cooler.
I know. I tried.
In my vision right now,
Yeah,
Perfect Circles are really cool. I thought you were gonna go say Good Charlotte or something, but then you hit me with a Perfect Circle.
No, Perfect Circle, Tool, all that stuff.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And the end.
Damn, that's like ended on a high note. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.